Hello YouTube, Benny here from All Chef's Fall. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing one of my first commentaries over a video. Today I'm going to be showing you some strategies my favorite strategies for each class in Team Fortress 2, and the way that I like to play them, what weapons I use, and how I use them properly, and the way I think that you can play these classes most effective. So, today I'm going to start off with the Scout here. You can see in the background, the loadout that I'm using is the Shortstop, the Mad Milk, and the default bat. In this case it's a festive bat, but you don't worry about that. It doesn't change anything. So the first way that I like to play Scout is you run up behind someone, hopefully behind someone, and you get a milk on them. They'll know you're there, but then you can try and beat them to death with your bat. It's actually a lot of fun to try. You don't knock it till you try it. Seriously, it's so rewarding to just run up and beat a heavy to death with a bat before he even notices you're there. And the milk allows you to, well, first you can get a lot of support points for helping your teammates regen, and second of all, you can also heal yourself. That's pretty much the way that I do it, but the reason I like to use the Shortstop is because it has a much tighter radius of the way that bullets fly, versus the default scattergun. And you can walk up to someone, and if you get a meat shot with the Shortstop, it can do massive amounts of damage, even from afar, even from a pretty good distance. You can do 70, 80 damage with a good shot. But this is at the cost that you can't do nearly as much damage from long range. But it's also very useful for taking out sentries. You can see there, I took out another sniper by beating him to death with the bat. It is a lot of fun. And yeah, the Shortstop, also you get that extra health boost from health packs. I'm not sure if it's just health packs. It's probably both. But yeah, it can be very useful, and it's, again, very silly and rewarding to just run up to someone and beat them to death with a bat without them even knowing. So that's pretty much the Scout. Okay, onto the Soldier. For this loadout, I like to use the Equalizer, the gunboats, and the default rocket launcher. Definitely the default rocket launcher is definitely the best. Especially if you have like a medic on your team. If you don't have a medic on your team, I'd probably use the black box for the extra healing. But rocket launcher, you aim at your enemy's feet to hopefully try and blow them up. Very simple. Gunboats, this is probably your biggest asset as a soldier. You can have extreme maneuverability, as I show right about here. You can perform insane rocket jumps with a little bit of practice, even if you just do simple ones. Even if you end up dying, that was just an example of the kind of stuff you can do. You can get from point A to point B faster than any other class in the game, except maybe Demoman with the sticky jumper. But, and if you chain them at the end, if you're very skilled, use the Market Gardener. If you practice it a lot, definitely, you go ahead, use the Market Gardener. Default rocket launcher, gunboats, and Market Gardener. I'm good at rocket jumping, but I can never really hit the Market Gardeners, so I like to use the Equalizer because a lot of times, after soaring through the air, you probably won't have a lot of health left, and you can just get those random crits all the time with the Equalizer. You can do tons of damage with it. Other than that, yeah, just default rocket launcher, try and shoot for their feet. That's definitely the easiest way. Once you get really good, you can try and direct hit them, and if you get really good at that, you might want to actually switch to using the direct hit for that insane amount of damage boost. And if you practice it enough, you can shoot an enemy's feet and pop them up into the air to a point where you can just hit them again and air shot them. This takes a lot of practice. You can go on TR Walkway and practice that on bots that are walking right at you. You can make them strafe back and forth. It's definitely a good map, so I try that. And that's pretty much it for the Soldier. Okay, and on to the Pyromaniac. Now, for this loadout, I like to use the Degreaser, the flare gun, and the extinguisher. These all work together amazingly in a pair. First of all, the stats that are useful. the degreaser, it does 10% less damage with fire, yeah, but you get a 65% faster weapon switch, which is very useful. So then the flare gun doesn't do much damage generally, but if you hit someone who's already on fire, it does crit damage, which is 90 damage. And the extinguisher does 50% less damage to non-burning players, but does a mini crit from the front with to a burning player and a full crit from behind to a burning player. So essentially, your idea with this loadout is set someone on fire, make them essentially useless by air blasting them, and try and hit them with the flare gun to get that 90 crit, or extinguisher crit them if they're close enough, or you air blast them into a corner. So you'll see an example of this here. I air blast him to where he can't escape. He hits me away with, I think it was a loose cannon shot, but I did actually get that flare gun shot. And you can do, I didn't get the kill, which kind of sucked, but I haven't mastered this yet. If you practice this a lot, you can get very, very, very good at it. A lot of times you'll see try-hard pyros on servers using this kind of tactic / loadout, and it's very effective. Light someone on fire and crit them with your other weapons. So I didn't actually light him on fire, but I got the crit there. The first time I didn't light him on fire, but I got him eventually. Yeah, that's pretty much it for Pyro. Practice it a lot and you can do very well. Okay, and on to the Demoman. So, we are going to be using our trusty little lock and load loadout. Lock and load, charge and targe, and Ullapool caber. Now, I'm sure you've seen this before. It's very, very, very commonly used. Is extremely effective. So essentially, lock and load, you have one less pill in your chamber to shoot, but and your pills don't explode unless it's a direct hit on a player, so you do have to learn to aim it pretty well. But you do a ton more damage. It's only a little bit of a damage bonus, but it is the difference between 3-shotting a class versus 2-shotting a class. So along with that, you use the charge and targe so that you can take immense amounts of damage from you get pretty much resistance to everything. You don't take afterburn, you get fire resistance, I believe you also get explosion resistance, so they're extremely useful for a lot of situations. You can take out enemy buildings extremely easy with the lock and load. Oh, what am I doing? Okay. Which can be very useful for your team as well as you, so that you don't lose a big chunk of your health. Especially against mini sentries, you can one-hit them with the lock and load pill. Also, the Ullapool caber is just for if you're in a bad situation, you can just give up, or if you just kind of want to be a dick, you can use it. Otherwise, I'd use something like the pan, because you get those random crits all the time, or use whatever you want for melee, actually. It doesn't make a huge difference, but I like using Ullapool because it pisses people off. As you can see, you can kill people before they even know to hit them, unless you get demo knighted. But yeah, trusty demo loadout. That's pretty much it. Okay, now on to heavy. Now this is definitely one of my favorite loadouts. Default minigun, buffalo steak sandwich, and the warrior spirit. Now essentially, default minigun, yeah sure, you can do your minigun thing. I'm not very good with this loadout at all, but it's just so much fun to use. Use the default minigun, you can run around and kill people, but if you're feeling adventurous, you can eat your steak sandwich, and then use your warrior spirit, and you can just charge at people, and you see the look of death in their eyes, knowing that there's no way, they know there's no way that they can escape, because you're running so quickly while you have those mini crits, and you do that extra % of damage with the warrior spirit. It's just so rewarding to run up into an enemy's face and 1 or 2 hit them with melee. Again, that's pretty much that's a couple of my loadouts, like Scout. But I didn't really get very much good footage of this because I kept dying. It's definitely more useful if you have a medic on you. Another thing you can do with this is the use of friendly heavy. A lot of times you can meet some nice people on Valve servers or other servers, and you can just be a friendly heavy and hold your sandwich out, and they won't kill you. Hopefully, there's always going to be the people who don't understand how they either they want to kill you because they want to get that kill, or they don't care about friendlies, or they're just not really in the greatest mood, or they don't know that you're friendly. Whatever. I don't like to call people free-to-plays who kill friendlies for no reason, because they just don't know how the game works, and they don't. Even if they did, I bet they'd still kill you. But that can also be a lot of fun to play around with. And yeah, that's pretty much it. On to the engineer. Now, this engineer loadout is definitely one of my all-time favorites. Essentially, you use the Frontier Justice, the Wrangler, and the Gunslinger. So you can run out onto the battlefield, place down your mini-sentry very easily and quickly, and if you want, you can leave it there. You can run away, or if you have a good spot, you can keep it there and use the Wrangler, finish people off with that two times firing speed, and then when your mini sentry dies, you get these Frontier Justice crits, and you can just get on killing sprees like I just did there. You can just immediately place down your new sentry. It's insane. You can kill so many people with this loadout, but you will be the bane of existence on the server. So just remember that. A lot of people, if you're very good at this, a lot of people will begin to develop a hatred for your mini sentries. But it's so simple. You can just be constantly placing down these mini sentries, and if they get enough kills, when they die, you get these Frontier Justice crits that help you as a person survive rather than just your mini sentry. One tactic that I like to use with this is, rather than just placing the mini sentry and running, build a mini sentry, then pick it up and bring it over to where you want to bring it, because you can have it build in under a second if you do it that way, versus like the 2 or 3 seconds that it is normally. So even in these death-like situations, if you have your mini sentry, A, it distracts opponents, B, it helps you kill them, and C, you're totally safe most of the time, unless you're trying to place it right in the middle of a bunch of people. Try and place it more in front of them. It might die, but of course you get those Frontier Justice crits, which help you survive. Just remember with this, they're extremely expendable. You don't need to worry about keeping one alive. Don't waste ammo on refilling it most of the time, because it's just unnecessary. And try and find some good spots for your mini sentry. It's much more effective if you do it that way. That's pretty much it. Very simple, but so effective. As you can see, I'm on an 8 kill streak right now, but I think I finally die here. Yeah, I get backstabbed. So that's pretty much it for engineer. And on to our good old friend the medic, the class that everybody loves but nobody likes to play. With this class, I love to use the Blutsauger and the that's pretty much it. Everything else default. Essentially, you can be for example, in life-threatening situations that you'd normally easily just die in, you can use the Blutsauger to keep yourself alive, and that benefits your whole team, because that means that your whole team can stay alive because you're healing your team. Default melee weapon, because normally I would say use the Uber Saw, because you get that Uber, which is extremely useful, but just using the Uber Saw, right, you're kind of more of a battle medic in this sense. With the Uber Saw, you have a 20% slower firing speed, which can just be, it'll get you killed, trust me. But a lot of times, you can be you can syringe people to death easily with the Blutsauger. You heal your teammates with the default medigun. I've seen this also do well with the quick fix, because you can heal your team much faster than the default healing rate. That's pretty much it. Nothing too special here. Just make sure that you syringe those enemies, and don't forget to heal your teammates. On to our good old friend, the crazy old sniper. Now, disclaimer, unfortunately during this gameplay I was doing pretty terribly. I couldn't find any of my old gameplays where I was actually doing well as sniper, but you get the drift. You'll learn how to do this pretty quickly. Definitely the default sniper rifle's the best. Then I like to use Girardi. Very useful against spies mainly, from wherever you're sniping from, but it can also be extremely useful against enemies just in general. If you Girardi them, your team has so much bigger of an advantage over the other the enemies, because they take those mini crit damage, and then definitely the Bushwhacker, because you get that full crit against the Girardi. The only other thing I might do would be the Darwin's Danger Shield, because but it is a little bit of a trolley kind of thing, because you don't take the you can get headshot and survive if it's not charged, which can piss off some people, but it can be useful for situations because it takes twice as long to kill you versus other snipers. But yeah, you can even see right now I'm running out onto the battlefield and I'm doing pretty well as just sniper, Girardiing enemies, sniping people. But yeah, try and aim for headshots. It's much more effective. I didn't get very many good actual headshots in this. Most of mine were pretty crap. But if you practice enough, you can do very well. A lot of these loadouts have to do with a lot of practicing, because if you want to be skilled at TF2, it's not all about just using the right weapons. You also have to have some skill, and you do have to practice. On to our last class, probably the hardest one to pick for the loadout, the Spy. And on to our good old friend, the Spy. Now, for this loadout, I like to use the Ambassador, the Dead Ringer, and the default knife. You might want to go with Spicicle. Find whichever one you prefer. Try them all out. You can use scrap.tf to get a Spicicle. Don't craft one. That's just stupid. Essentially, your goal with this loadout is to get behind the enemy using the different parts of the map, mainly, that aren't nearly as heavily populated. For example, in this map, I like to use the sewers a lot to escape from people, to make your getaway. Now here I actually get pwned by this scout who milks me so that he can follow me, and then he Boston Bashers me so that I'm also bleeding at the same time. But he ends up killing himself with the bleeding. But again, your main goal with this is to use the map to your advantage. Find spots that are never ever populated. On every map there's going to be a spot that is very useful. There's a health pack in almost every spot. There's health packs all over the map that you can use that can be extremely useful. And there are getaways that a lot of people neglect to actually use. You Dead Ringer and you can just get away from there and uncloak in the sewers and go back up and try again. Your goal, get behind people, get the backstab. And for example, you see here I Dead Ringer and I get away through this little area that I almost never see people using, and you can get down into the sewers where this mini health pack is and the half crate of ammo. Also, something you can do if you like to have a bit of fun with the Spy, you can practice corner stabs, stair stabs, and matador stabs. Now these are a lot of fun to try, but they're very, very, very hard to master. But once you get good at them, they can be very easy. So a corner stab is where you walk around a corner making an enemy think that you're walking in one direction, and you hide behind that little corner so that they can't see you. But while they can't see you, you turn around and you strafe to the side around the corner, and they turn around the corner, and you can get just barely behind them and get a backstab. This is a lot of fun to do. It feels very rewarding. It's probably the easiest type of trick stab, in my opinion. Next, there's the stair stab, which is where you're walking up a set of stairs and you jump over an enemy's head and backstab them as you're coming down. You have a very large range of their back where you can backstab them. A lot of people don't know, but there's pretty much a full 180 degrees. And lastly, I'm about to get one, is the matador stab, where it's like a corner stab, or I'm not about to get one, okay, I'll get one in a minute. It's like a corner stab, but you do it without a corner. You lead someone into walking one direction, and you spin around and get them. It can be a little bit tough to do, but it's so much fun to try, even if you fail. I think I'm about to get one. You'll see what it looks like. Here you're gonna see this sniper, and boom, Matador stab. You make them think you're walking in one direction, and you quickly, before they can react, turn around and get to a point where you can backstab them before they realize that you've actually moved. That's pretty much it for this episode, or this video. Brian and Cameron are working together to make a video. Cameron's probably going to become part of this channel soon, because we can't put out videos all that often. School and stuff. Summer's coming soon, hopefully. But they're working on a video for the top 10 least used weapons in TF2, which will be fun. I won't spoil any of that, but hopefully I'm gonna do some more with Cameron. We'll have more videos, which means I'll have more time to do edited videos and commentaries and stuff like this, versus just recording a gameplay, something that's more fun like this. So thank you so much for watching. We appreciate every view, and every subscriber is always nice. Like the video if you did. If you disliked it, dislike it, and please tell us in the comments why you didn't like it. Constructive criticism is always nice. Comment which loadout you like the best, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.